Okay, here's the last section of our review sheet that we need to do today, and total, it is the nervous system. So there's not a whole lot we need to know about the nervous system, but I'm just going to break down a couple of the really important points that we found out about in class, and we'll take it from there. If you look at the board, if you look at Fluffy, you're going to see the two divisions of the nervous system that we focused on in class. The two divisions that we need to know about are the central nervous system and also the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system is the main part. If we look here, we can see the brain, and then going down the middle here, we have the spinal cord. Another name for the spinal cord is the nerve cord. Those two things make up the central nervous system. The second part is the peripheral nervous system. And that word peripheral, we've all associated that with peripheral vision, meaning that we can see things out of our central vision. Okay, and peripheral kind of means outline. And our peripheral nervous system is the part of our nervous system that connects our body to our central nervous system. So when we look at this diagram, we can see all of these nerves that are branching off of the spinal cord or the nerve cord. You can see those there. If you look at Fluffy, my cat here on my desk, maybe you can see the brain, you can see the nerve cord, and then all the different nerves that are branching off of that, those would be the peripheral nervous system. So those are the two divisions of the nervous system that we're going to be focusing on primarily. When I ask how many senses we have, well, there's 5 senses that we can have. We can have this sense of sight, sense of smell, the sense of sound, the sense of taste, and the sense of touch. So those are the 5 senses. It is possible and it is common to maybe not have all of those senses. We know that there are some people that may not have all of those, but those are the 5 that we can have, scientifically proven. Now, let's take a look at the brain. In this graphic on the board, hopefully you can see it, we can see the 3 regions of the brain, the 3 parts that we need to know about. So the brain is the main organ of the nervous system, and it's got these 3 main parts that we're going to focus on. It's got the cerebrum, which is the biggest part here, the top of it. Over here, this pink portion is the cerebellum. It's behind the brain on the bottom, so it's on the back of your head. And then you've got your medulla, which is orange there, which our textbook commonly refers to as our brain stem. Keep in mind the cerebrum, the top part, that's going to be responsible for our senses and also our voluntary actions. It's the brain stem and the cerebrum, or the cerebellum, that handle things that are more involuntary, meaning that we're not going to have conscious control over what's going on. Our body's just going to do it automatically. It's the voluntary actions that the cerebrum is going to do along with our senses. So some of those involuntary actions, for example, the cerebrum, or the cerebellum, the cerebellum is responsible for balance and also our muscle coordination. Those are things that we don't necessarily have to think about. We can refine those, we can train those, but our cerebellum is going to do those involuntarily for us. And then our brainstem, which is also known as our medulla, that's going to handle things that are involuntary, like our heartbeat, or it's going to involve the contracting and relaxing of our diaphragm, which allows for our breathing. Another thing that our brainstem is in charge of is peristalsis. Peristalsis, if you remember, is the muscular contractions that move food through our digestive system. That's completely involuntary. We have no control over peristalsis at all. So those are the things, the different regions of the brain and what each one of them kind of does for us. In addition to that, we did talk a little bit about neurons. If you have the back of this worksheet that we did in class, the picture of the hand touching the hot iron, it kind of goes over the 3 different types of neurons that we have. Hopefully you remember I had mentioned that nerve cells in our body are unlike any other cells in our body in the fact that we don't create more of those as we grow. If we damage our skin, if we damage our bones, damage organs, they can heal themselves. We make new cells to repair old worn out cells and replace ones that get damaged. But when we're talking about nerve cells, those are something that are completely different. The nerve cells or neurons they don't regenerate, they don't fix themselves, and damage is generally permanent. We have three different types of neurons in our body. They're called sensory neurons. Those are the ones that are hooked to our senses. We have interneurons. Those are the ones that are in our brain. And then we have motor neurons, and those are the ones that connect to our muscles in our body, and they enable us to react. So each one of those neurons has a specific function. We have those on our vocabulary words. And to be honest, I'm not going to quiz you on those. You're not going to have to know those for the test, but it's good background information to have. And if you just think about each one of those words, sensory, inter, and motor, in those words it gives us a little bit of a hint as to what they do. So that's our human systems review. Use the review sheet, use these videos as you want. Hopefully they help you review a little bit. I'm going to make some more videos to cover some other concepts that we went through earlier this year, just so that we can have them for review for the final exam, or just to continue further reviewing in our absence from school. So if you have questions or comments, feel free to email me. If you have comments, be kind, okay? Because I'm just doing this on the fly. So I'm forgetting some things, I'm sure, and making mistakes. But anyways, hope everyone's doing well. Take care.